Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Now, trading is one of the many weapons in a general manager's arsenal to help improve their respective NHL team. Whether it's acquiring talented players to bolster a Stanley Cup contender with the hopes of finding the final piece in their championship puzzle, or whether it's sending top talent elsewhere to acquire draft picks or prospects to help rebuild a roster for a future cup run, there is a number of reasons why teams may decide to make deals and exchange assets with another franchise. However, there is no transaction more ridiculously lopsided than this one. This is the story of Kris Draper, the Stanley Cup champion traded for $1. In order to tell this fascinating tale, allow me to take you back to June 17th, 1989, during the NHL's 1989 entry draft. The Winnipeg Jets, nope, not these ones, we're going back to the OG days in this video, baby, used their pick late in the third round of the draft to select centre Kris Draper, 62nd overall, from the Canadian national team. Unfortunately for both Draper and the Jets, over the 3 years following his selection, Draper struggled to earn a regular spot on the Winnipeg Jets roster. Between the 1990-91 season and the 92-93 season, Draper suited up in only 20 NHL games and scored just 3 points. Draper would consequently see himself spending a lot of time in the American Hockey League to refine his overall game, and even spent some time in the OHL. Speaking of which, here's a fun fact for you. According to my research, Kris Draper is the only player in NHL history to be sent to play in the juniors for the rest of the season after suiting up in both the NHL and the AHL. Bet you didn't know that, did ya? But anyway, after scoring 68 points in 135 AHL games over 3 years, the Jets management felt that they had waited patiently long enough for Draper to break out as a legitimate NHL player. The Jets figured that Draper would fail to make an impact on their roster in the following seasons, just like he had done since they acquired him. So they decided that they would move on from their former 62nd overall pick. This move came on June 30th, 1993, when the Jets traded Draper to the Detroit Red Wings for future considerations. Initially, the Jets wanted to trade Draper to the Red Wings for nothing in return. However, the NHL rules stated that in order for Draper to join the Detroit organization immediately, and for the trade to be legal, the Jets needed to acquire something in return. It is a trade after all, not a giveaway. So, it was decided that the future considerations would be the smallest, most insignificant asset possible. It was decided, in exchange for the 23-year-old Kris Draper, the Jets would receive $1. Yes, the Winnipeg Jets traded a former third-round draft pick for a single dollar bill. If that doesn't show a player how little their former franchise valued their efforts, I don't know what does. That said, Draper would certainly get the last laugh. After being moved in the off-season, Draper began the 93-94 season with the Red Wings AHL affiliate Adirondack Red Wings, where he scored 43 points in 46 games before earning his first call-up to Detroit's NHL roster. This Canadian centre's fourth attempt to crack an NHL team was all he needed, as the rest was history. Kris Draper would spend the next 17 seasons in a Red Wings jersey, where he would suit up in 1,137 games and score 364 points before announcing his retirement on July 26, 2011. In doing so, Draper became one of only a handful of players in NHL history to play 1,000 games with the Red Wings franchise. Draper also helped his team win a few championships as a member of Detroit's grind line, with teammates Kirk Maltby and either Darren McCarthy or Joe Coker, as he was a member of the Red Wings Stanley Cup championship teams in 1997, 1998, 2002 and 2008. He also won the 2004 Frank J. Selke Trophy, awarded to the league's best defensive forward for his efforts during the 03-04 season. Not a bad return for a player that cost you $1, am I right? On the flip side of this trade, the Winnipeg Jets would continue to struggle in the National Hockey League as they missed the playoffs in 2 of the next 3 seasons, before relocating the franchise to Phoenix, having never made it past the second round of the playoffs in their 17 years in Winnipeg, to become the currently named Arizona Coyotes, where their reputation as one of the league's consistently mediocre franchises continues to this day. Looks like that dollar didn't get them very far in the long run, did it? Whilst Draper not being traded and remaining with the team likely wouldn't have turned Winnipeg into a Stanley Cup contender, it certainly would have been a step in the right direction, provided he was as good of a player as he was in Detroit, of course. Though he was never the type of player to light the lamp every night or win a scoring title, Kris Draper was as hard a working a player as you'll find in the National Hockey League, who just needed the right environment and role on the team to flourish. Something that I think can be said about a large number of players who suit up in the league. I mean, how many times do we hear of a player failing to live up to expectations or struggling with one franchise, only to move elsewhere and play really well? Add to that 4 Stanley Cup championships, a Selke trophy, and a few gold medals with Team Canada, and you've got yourself an incredibly successful career. I don't know about you, but in hindsight, I bet the Jets wish they had got a little more in return when they sent Draper packing in 1993. Or at least they should have got a receipt or something. Oh, and you'll be pleased to know that after winning his first Stanley Cup with Detroit in 1997, Draper managed to pay back the cost of his acquisition by giving Red Wings owner at the time, Mike Ilitch, his dollar back. Oh, I do love a happy ending, don't you? And that's the story of the Stanley Cup champion traded for a single dollar. What do you think about this story, or about Kris Draper's career as a whole? Also, is there another tale from the NHL or another hockey league around the world that you would like me to make a video on? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear what you guys think. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, watch some of my other videos. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. A big thank you to Chris Gadsby, Kalesbro, Matt DeWild, Max Artis, and Nat Marlowe, as well as a huge thank you to Ryan Todd for helping support this video via Patreon. If you too want to help support the channel a little bit further and get a shout out at the end of every future video, make sure you head over to patreon.com/oddmanrush and become a patron today.